Hello one and all, and welcome to the Math Magic Show. In this one, let's take a look at the relationship between the numerator and denominator involved in polynomial division, and then some additional pieces. So we're going to focus on the relationship. Here's the situation. Imagine we have x squared plus 5x plus 6, and we're dividing this by x plus 1. Let's take a look at the long division process for polynomials. So I'm going to put this x squared plus 5x plus 5, 1 under the bar for division, as usual. And now I'm going to put x plus 1 on that side. Let's go to the division process. So first what I do is I take the blue x squared and I divide by the red x. Why would I want to do that? Because that tells me what to place above the 5x. In other words, it tells me what to put over here, 5x. So when I do that, I'll have the following x, that black x. That is because the blue x squared by the x is x in black. And that goes up top. Then you proceed as follows. You take the black x, you multiply by the red x, and that tells you that under the blue x you got to put x squared again. Then you take that black x and you multiply by the red 1, and that tells you that under the 5x you're going to put there x, because x times 1 is x. Okay, draw the line, and then you subtract these two. And that is so because if you don't subtract, then the x squared and x squared would not cancel. So that's why you have to change the signs on these terms next to where I am right here. So make sure this becomes negative x squared minus x, not x squared plus x. Okay, then after that, you basically add straight down. So 5x minus x is 4x. And then that 6 that you see over here, that's just brought straight down, so it becomes plus 6. Then you continue the process. So in this case, the next stage basically says take your 4x at the bottom, in other words the 4x above my head, and divide that by the red x, and that tells you what to put up top next to the black x. And then you go back the other way. So let's actually work that out. I'm going to have the following. When I do that, so I'm going to have 4x divided by x, which tells me up top I got to put 4. And then I go back the other way and multiplying. So it becomes 4 times the red x, which is 4x. Then it becomes 4 times the red 1, which is plus 4. I then, on the bottom 4x plus 4, change the signs as usual. In other words, this becomes now the following, negative. So negative 4x minus 4. And then I add straight down. So the 4x parts will cancel, and then 6 minus 4 is 2. The 2 is in green. So I'm going to stop right here, and I know that I should stop and then carry this out, but what is the reason? Well, because if I continue the process, I would have 2 divided by x, that green 2 divided by the red x. But that's not going to give you anything pretty anymore, so that tells you got to stop. It's not going to give you like an x or a 4 or something along those lines. So that 2 in green, that represents basically the remainder of the division. A way to interpret this work is as follows. What it states is the following, that x squared plus 5x plus 6 on the bottom there is equivalent to taking the x plus 1 in red, multiplying by the x plus 4 in black, that's the quotient, and then adding the remainder at the end. In other words, it's telling us that x plus 1 multiplying x plus 4, if you FOIL that piece, those pieces out first, imagine you FOIL them out. And then you add the 2, that would give back the original expression x squared plus 5x plus 6. That's what this is telling us. But let's convince ourselves of this also graphically, because I think the graphical approach might be even more convincing than just all of this, seemingly abstract algebra stuff. So as a place to begin with that, what I'm going to do is, let me draw a graph. And let's label the pieces of this graph. So in this graph you have a red line, and then you have a blue parabola. Let's label the pieces. So the x squared plus 5x plus 6, that's the parabola piece. So that's what we were dividing. You see, that's the top of our division symbol there. And the x plus 1, that's what we are dividing by. That's what it looks like at first, you see? It looks like the x plus 1 and x squared plus 5x plus 6 are completely different things. X plus 1 is a line, x squared plus 5x plus 6 is a parabola. At first they look unrelated. So what we do then is this. Go back to the bottom and refer to the piece. On the bottom, that states you need x plus 1 multiplying x plus 4. So let's apply the next stage of that process. When I do that, it's going to look like this. Over here, I'm going to have the following. Let's talk about this a little bit. So I have x squared plus 5x plus 6. That's the blue graph. And the red one, is x plus 1 multiplying x plus 4. And you see by multiplication by x plus 4, we have now made a parabola. That's why over here, left-hand side bottom, we have x plus 1 multiplying x plus 4. But those two pieces alone are not enough to give back the original x squared plus 5x plus 6. So that means we have to complete the process. We need to add one more piece, which is the remainder. Let's look at that in that step. So I'm going to have just a single blue graph on the bottom. And the reason for the single blue graph is the following, that now if you take x plus 1 and you multiply by x plus 4 and you add that to remainder, that's the same as just having x squared plus 5x plus 6. You cannot tell them apart anymore. I hope the graphs are convincing you perhaps a bit more, visually, why over here on the left side I can write x squared plus 5x plus 6 as x plus 1 multiplying x plus 4, and why the 2 is also even necessary, right? If you think about the function of the 2, it's the remainder in the division, but in terms of graphs, it's really just a vertical lift or vertical shift, if you like, from this perspective at least. What I mean by that is when I transition from this graph right here, where it's x plus 1 multiplying x plus 4 in black only, to the one below where it says x plus 1, x plus 4, then you tack the 2 on, and you see how the red graph gets shifted up, and it becomes x squared plus 5x plus 6. Okay, and that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that what I've done here has shed some light for you on the meaning of some of what happens when we do polynomial division, and what the pieces mean, and how do you interpret the answer, and what the remainder means, and so on. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you in another video.